Hi there. Today I'm going to be applying Erikson's stage intimacy versus isolation. This is the sixth stage in Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, and this occurs between the ages of 18 through 40. In this stage, individuals are exploring intimate relationships and exploring the options of childbearing, and they're exploring their work environment and their lifestyle in general. And their primary concern in this stage is being loved versus being alone. And here we are discovering a belonging in friendship, family, school, community, a religious or ethnic group, or just another variety of groups. As well, we're experiencing physiological and psychological benefits of social support. Through this, we are trying to create open, supportive, tender relationships without the fear of losing our identity in the process, since we've already established our identity in the previous stage, identity versus role confusion. As well with forming these relationships, Erikson always said we must have a strong sense of ourselves before loving others, or else this will influence how we build our relationships. Without having a good perception of ourselves, this is what leads to isolation. And this is a fear or unwillingness to have close, confiding, meaningful relationships. And this can be demonstrated through evidence of social anxiety, loneliness, and depression. And isolation can also come from a lack of access to adequate social connection, and this can be perceived as threatening to others. As well, in accordance with this stage, Freud's psychosexual genital stage is also included in this age range. So this is when sexual impulses emerge, and if other stages have been successfully met, adolescents and adults engage in appropriate sexual behavior, which is also a contributor to forming these relationships with others, whether it would be sexual relationships or just friendships. As well, another developmental stage that occurs is Piaget's formal operational stage. And a part of this is post-formal stage, which is not officially a stage, but in the sense that we're over the age of 18 now, this is like sort of what we come to. So in post-formal thinking, decisions are made based on situations and circumstances, and logic is integrated with emotion as adults develop principles that depend on context. So I guess for me in this stage, I am not one to form intimate relationships with others firsthand. I sort of like start the friendship, but when it comes to building more of an intimate relationship, I'm very like thrown off by that, and I don't really engage in that just because of what my past has shown me about like forming relationships with others. So in this, I tend to demonstrate exclusivity in relationships, which means I tend to shut out others when the going gets tough. So I guess whenever I get like scared or afraid of losing someone, and I know that we're kind of having like a struggle, I shut them out and like give them their space in the hopes that they'll forget kind of why we're having these struggles in the first place, and then we can move on from them. As well, with exclusivity, I can easily get jealous by other people coming in contact with someone I like have an attraction to, and that even more just makes me want to shut them out. So that's kind of an issue that I've had growing up and still somewhat have. With this, there's kind of a moral development sense in here. So with Kohlberg's theories of moral development, we're currently in the post-conventional stage, which is when a person's sense of morality is defined in terms of more abstract principles and values. And basically this means that humans are now getting up and believing that, some laws are unjust and should be changed or eliminated. And this can also contribute to how a person defines themselves in the hierarchy of society, which can very much influence how one makes relationships, because if you think you're better than someone else just because of the hierarchy of social constructs, then you're not going to be able to create these relationships with people. So a need for a counselor during this stage would be to work on enmeshment and emotional attunement. So with enmeshment, this is a structured system that contains individuals grouped into subsystems linked by patterns of communication, boundaries, alliances, and rules. And this is usually used in family therapy so that other family members can understand like where they fall into this stage, which would inhibit this person creating these relationships that are super important for them to not feel alone and isolated. As well with emotional attunement, this is in accordance with mutuality among peers. This is developing a sense of basic trust and empathetic awareness of one another, and in your understanding of yourself and others, and your willingness to regulate one's needs in order to respond to the needs of one partner.